Hey, good life riders, welcome back. If you didn't see last week's video when this happened to my camera, you can click up above and go check that out. But we found the camera, and as you can see here, it is being charged. Put it in my tour pack and let it charge up a little bit because it ran the battery down as it sat there in the grass. But we continued on. I turned the bike around and we headed back north to Superior, and then we headed over to Steel City to check out the Salty Dog Saloon bike show. See, I practiced a little bit of that turning there where I turned my head all the way as I turned, but let my brother lead and we headed on down the road. So we'll take you on our little ride today, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I want to show you a little bit of how this whole trip, as you see, that was 194 miles, 5 hours it took for us to get from home to Superior, then down to Kansas, then back up past Superior after we found the camera, and then on to Steel City. So I started at about 7 o'clock that morning, and we got there at about noon-ish. The bike show was supposed to end at about 1, so we rolled ourselves into Steel City over the tracks. If you've never been to Steel City also, as well as having this bike show, they also do some history days. If you haven't seen the history days, I'll put a link up above to when we went there and we checked out the blacksmithing that they do in town. Kind of a cool little deal. But we showed up, didn't really know what to expect from this. I've been down here and I've eaten at the Salty Dog Saloon. It is this is a one-horse town, I'll tell you. Half of the town is on this side of the tracks. The other half of the town is on the other side of the tracks. So we've eaten here, came into town, thought, wow, there's quite a bit of bikes here. Kind of a cool little deal. So we found our place where we were going to park, which took a little bit. But we found our area where we were going to park, and they had a band going on. There was no other places to eat other than the Salty Dog Saloon. So if you go to this, keep that in mind. And then they had the bike show in this little park area, and we not only got to see the bike show, but we got to see some guys. I think they're out of the Kearney area, dynoing bikes. And then we walked around and we had this guy say, hey man, you want to hear how loud our bike is? And as you hear this, as he starts up the bike, you can tell here he topped out the microphone. The mic doesn't show it, but man, that bike was loud.
So if anybody wants this for sale.
Pretty crazy, so we'll let you take in a little bit of the bike show here. Enjoy. Well, here we are leaving the Salty Dog Saloon bike rally. Quite a few bikes. Pretty nice little show. So if you don't know anything about Steele City, it's a small town of less than 100 people. And the first weekend in June is generally when they do this bike show. And then I think it's the third weekend in September, they have an antique show and a historical type show. So I encourage you to go check both of those out when they come around. Gonna cross over and do a little ride into Kansas. Steele City itself is actually less than 3 miles from the Kansas border. So this here road that we took doesn't have a highway, it's just a road that comes out of Steele City and runs down into Washington, Kansas. It was a pretty rough road, as you can see. Had a couple of turns in it, but not too many. But it was kind of a nice little quiet road. This road isn't the greatest, so this is a road that comes south out of Steele City. Hoo-yah, 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 hoo-yah. Kind of rough. Supposedly it runs into Washington, Kansas. I have found that sometimes roads like this are kind of hard to tell whether they're going to be a real road like that the whole way or if they're going to turn into gravel. I've had roads turn into gravel, but this one goes hardtop all the way down into Washington. And we ran into this little situation. Wow, that doesn't look good. As you can see, the police are here and they're loading that bike up on the trailer. Didn't know if it was in a wreck or if it just died or what, but I was kind of surprised to see that there was actually a police cop there. So we continued on. So we continued on the long straightaways of good old Kansas. Straightaways that continue to go on and on and on. As you can see there, it is a long straightaway. Then finally we came into the little town of Washington. Not so little, but it's still a small country town. And we filled up for gas and continued our little trip. So this is the path that we took when we left out of Steele City. It was a nice little ride. Some curvy roads in there, as you can see. And we went back up to Superior and dropped Neil off, and then I went the rest of the way back home and ended up with about 420 miles. It was a good day. Let you enjoy a little of this ride. Well, that is going to end this week's video. Hope you enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, and join us, and we continue on our adventures this summer. We have a lot more cool videos. We did a lot more trips, and I got a lot more stuff earlier on in the year and even later on in the year to bring you. Some of Sturgis, some more Daytona Bike Week, and lots of great stuff. So let us know what you thought of this. If you've ever been to the Steel City Bike Show, let us know, and let us know of some other shows that are later on in this year, and we'll maybe try to get there. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We thank you for joining us, and until next time, remember to always keep the sunny side up, keep the rubber side down, and have an utterly awesome day.